Hello and welcome to this tutorial. So today I'm going to show you how to play and practice the violin with more flexibility and less tension. So if you are feeling a lot of tension while playing, don't freak out because it's pretty normal, but we have to know how to deal with it. So you are totally in the right place to learn today how to deal with it better. So we are going to start with talking a little bit about using our body weight instead of pressure, and then also going to talk a little bit more about the awareness so we know what motion we are actually doing, so then we can get rid of all our bad habits, pressure, tension, to get more flexibility in our playing. I'm also going to split this video a little bit into the correct violin position and holding so we don't stress our body more than we need, and also going a little bit more into the left and right hand problems because often these correlate a lot, so we don't even know how much the right hand can stress the left hand and vice versa in some passages. So it's good to know and talk about this also. And then after I showed you all of those exercises, I'm also going to give you a concrete example of the Brahms Sonata where you can watch me practice and doing all we talked about but on a real example. So I think this will be really eye-opening and also interesting for you, so you can adapt everything we talked about on every passage you want of your own repertoire. And now let's get right into the real content, which is about less tension and more flexibility. So when I was thinking about this video and thinking about what tips and tricks I wanted to share with you guys, I was remembering that I watched a video by Eddy Chen, who is one of the guys from Two-Set Violin, which I think are completely awesome. And I will leave his video also linked in the description box so you can watch it because it's really great. So he's talking about his tension checklist, talking about neck tension, back tension, and what you can do to make it better. So when I was thinking about it, of course, it's a real personal thing. So not everybody gets tension in the same parts of the body. Some don't even create any tension. But if we create tension, then it's most of the time in those parts which I'm going to show you today. So yeah, you can be a little bit more aware and get rid of all those tension habits that you may have created already. So let's start now with the correct position of the violin on your shoulder. So you place the violin on your shoulder and you might think now you have to press your chin down to hold the violin, but you don't need this, okay? So if you place the violin on your shoulder and now just move your head to the left, this is enough to hold the violin, okay? I don't use any pressure, just from my shoulder a little bit, from my neck a little bit movement here, and the violin is safe, okay? So try this at home, don't press, just move your head to the left, and this is all you need, okay? There are even some passages where you can totally relax your neck. So if you play in a higher position, for example, just take a little rest on your neck. Just take it up and you can just relax a bit before you get back to it again. So now to the left hand. What I like to do is to check the flexibility, to check if there's tension. And you can do this totally in between practice or before practice, no problem. So you can hold the violin with your right hand and just create this big circle around the violin and see if you can do this. If you can do this, it means that your shoulder and arm are free, because if there was any tension, you couldn't do it. So try this a few times. Then place your hand on the fingerboard and do this motion a little bit, so you see if this is free. Now to check if in a shifting position it would be free, just go up on the violin and down, and you can also touch with your right hand and see if here is some tension, because you can also feel it from the outside, also here. If you can do this all in a relaxed way, it's great. I mean, of course, it's always one thing to do it in this practice and then also to switch into real playing and do this. So it can be hard in the beginning to really adapt all those exercises into your real playing scenario, but that's all about awareness. If you are aware of the tension, then it's totally no problem, and it's all about the practice. So another thing you can check is how much pressure or finger weight, I think it's a little bit more pressure, but how much of it do you need to really press the violin string down so it's a great sound? Sometimes really, what I used to do sometimes is to press the finger so much that I could probably make a hole in the fingerboard. I mean, that's maybe a little bit extreme, but check it, okay? You don't need that much tension, just enough so that the string is getting down on the fingerboard, and this is not so much, okay? So if you want to check it, just do the motion from the knuckles here without any tension from the muscles in your hand. So just let the finger kind of fall from here, from the knuckles, to create this sound of, like if you're knocking on a door or something. Let your finger knock on the fingerboard very, very lightly. Not too fast, so you have really control about it. That's enough, okay? So check the tension you have in your fingers also. So we now talked about the left hand, but what about the right hand? So if we are thinking about the right hand, where can we have tension? We can always have tension in the shoulder, elbow, in the hand. But one of the things that always creates tension, I see it a lot also on my students, because they forget it a lot, and it's no problem because I forgot it also when I was younger. So you can also always write a little card where you write down your intention, what you want to remember while practicing. It's always a good idea. So for the right hand, remember that your thumb wants to be a little bit more round and flexible. So if it's like this, it will be stiff, okay? So if you hold the bow and you have your thumb straight, it can't really move and it's blocked, okay? So you don't want to block the thumb. Always make it a little bit round so it can really absorb any shocks. If you go to the string, you want your fingers to be flexible and always ready to move and without tension. So if the bow is a little bit too much in the beginning, because it has quite some weight, you can always use a pencil and it's quite the same thing, although of course it's short and you can play with it, but it's good for this exercise. So hold the pencil and just see and think about what parts of the arm are moving. So if I will just play like this, in the beginning you can see it's a movement from the shoulder in the first, it's the upper arm, okay? But then the elbow will come in action and the lower part of the arm will make the movement, okay? So think about this movement, understand what's going on, and feel the parts of your body so you can really be aware of any tension that comes up. And now try the whole movement with your bow. Also, good to know, if you don't know how much pressure, how much tension do I really need to hold the bow, because we of course need a little bit of muscle action to hold this bow. Just hold the bow, but let it a little bit like this glide through your fingers, and then you stop. How much pressure or tension do you need to stop the bow? That's all you need. You don't have to use crazy amounts of pressure or muscle action to hold the bow, okay? That's all you need. So now let's combine the two exercises of left and right arm. So if we play open strings, let's move the left hand and see what happens. Let's see if the right hand plays, the left hand can also be flexible. Be a little bit shaky in the beginning because you have to think about so many things at once, but it's really no problem. So just do those open strings and do some movements with the left arm to see if you can control the flexibility. So now that you did this, also try the articulation of the left hand together with the right hand. Again, how much pressure do you need? use as much as you need to create a good sound. So if you reduce the pressure, of course somehow there will come kind of a flageolet, but if you put a little bit only more, a real sound will come out. So that's a good way to see how much you really need. Now let's test it in the concrete passage of the Brahms Sonata. So I will show you the passage first, so you understand what I'm talking about. And then I will show you what I did in the previous examples, but on this concrete example. So this passage is all about bow speed. The left hand is so involved and concentrated with the double stops, and all this together can create a lot of tension. So most of all it can create the tension in the upper arm right, and this will also of course influence the left hand. So what are we going to do now? You know it. We split it now, okay? Right hand alone, left hand alone. We see what happens. First, right hand. So it's always the same thing that the right hand has to do. So try it until you feel relaxed, but you get the sound you want. So after this, try the left hand. Only articulation, and here flexibility. Don't tense up. You can see and hear how my fingers are knocking on the fingerboard. It can be maybe a little bit too much, so let's see if I can reduce a bit. You can also check, of course, do some pizzicato to see if the intonation is correct. Intonation is another thing. You can also check this separately, but now we want to really see how those two are working together without having too much tension. Okay, so if I do it now again, maybe I see that there has been some improvement. First wasn't so great. Let's do this separately. I can see that the movement from the G string to the D wasn't quite great, so I have to be a little bit more aware of this. Okay. And I do it again, okay? Until I feel great. And then if you have some passages that you would like to practice like this, always try it, because it's so worth it to really separate the two arms, the two parts of your body, to really see where the tension is, and then you can get rid of it. And I can also recommend you to really think about how much psychological stress you put into your practice, because this has a huge effect on the tension you feel while playing. So if you go into your practice feeling stressed, feeling like you don't have enough time to practice, you have to go out and do other stuff, try to relax and try to take a few really calm breaths. Calm down. Also, maybe you have a great memory of an event where you played, a great concert, something that you can really use to put you into the right mindset, so you are in a calm and very loving atmosphere towards your playing. This can really help you to get rid of some of the psychological stress and tension you then put onto your playing. Try to remind yourself of a great playing experience, so maybe a concert you really enjoyed, you felt so secure and good, and you trusted yourself, and try to recreate this. It's really that easy. Think about it, and it will have a positive influence on your practice and your playing. And what I also like to do is try to remember and think of a really great and warm summer day. The sun rays getting on your skin, you feel this really warm and relaxed feeling, and this warm feeling is something we want, because warmth, even if we think about it, makes us relax. So cold feelings like stress, anxiety, it will make us tense up. But if we think about something warm and cozy, it will have the opposite effect. So think about the sun and the light and the warmth and try to get into this mindset of positivity and loving feelings and gratitude for your job, for your playing. It's such a wonderful thing to do. So think about this and let this lead your practice and playing, and you will be much more relaxed with lots of great feelings while you play. Also, don't forget to check out my other channel where you can see me in action playing concerts and great music. I just uploaded a beautiful playlist of Einaudis music, which is so atmospherical. I love it so much. So I would be very happy if you would check this also out, and then I'm super happy to see you in the next video.